For the blog entry version of this video and for specific content warnings, please check the description below. Welcome to the first entry in my Under the Queer Umbrella video series. In this video, we shall be discussing single attraction identities. We will explain what single attraction means and break down some identities that fall under this category. I'll also mention how I fit under this category of identities too. Disclaimer. Although I've gone into this blog entry with the best intentions to educate others and done plenty of my own research into these identities by talking to those who identify with these labels and doing online research, I do not have the majority of these identities and therefore cannot speak from personal experience. If I get any information wrong, if you're comfortable, feel free to let me know in the comments and I will amend the blog version of this video as needed. My intention is to bring awareness to these identities and to educate on the beauty of queer identities. I encourage you to do your own research alongside this video entry, and you can find the link to all these identities in the description below. So what is single attraction? Unlike most communities under the queer umbrella, single attraction identities, as far as I'm aware, do not have their own community term, such as the likes of M-Spec, multisexual attraction spectrum, or A-Spec, asexual spectrum, so I shall be referring to this category as single attraction, since I feel this is the best way to describe this group of identities. There is, however, the term monosexual, which we will discuss in just a moment, but overall I will refer to this group as single attraction identity. Single attraction is when you are attracted to at least one gender or one gender category. For example, if you are attracted to only non-binary identities, as a whole, this could be considered a singular category, despite actually being made up of hundreds of different identities. Like all identities, singular attraction identities, or SAI, can be experienced on its own or alongside other identities. You can be M-Spec and identify with a single attraction identity term. For example, you could be bi and refer to yourself as both gay and straight, depending on your attraction at the time. Do not refer to those who are by single attraction identity terms unless they have specifically given you permission to do so. Referring to those who are by a single attraction identity term without their permission is bi erasure. We will get more into that when we discuss the M-Spec in the next video. Single attraction identities. Monosexual. The term monosexual can be used in a similar way to cisgender or allosexual. It encompasses all single attraction identities and is mostly used by those who identify with M-Spec terms to refer to those who are not multisexual. This does not mean that every individual that identifies with a single attraction identity term also identifies with the term monosexual. It's mostly used by multisexuals to point out monosexism, which is the prejudice placed upon multisexuals by monosexists, who use their identity as being superior as they are only attracted to one singular gender. Monosexism is most commonly attributed to straight individuals, but any who identify with a single attraction identity term can contribute to this type of prejudice. Monosexuals have a privilege over multisexuals that cannot go unaddressed. This is not to say all monosexuals partake in monosexism, but it's important to understand how only being attracted to one gender and or fitting into the social norm gives you certain privileges others may not experience, simply because they are attracted to multiple genders. Those who use single attraction identity can absolutely refer to themselves as monosexual. It's not a bad term. Just like how being cisgender is also not a bad term, it's okay to recognise that you have a privilege. You can experience some kinds of oppression alongside having a privilege. Heterosexuality or straight. Likely the most well-known and understood identity you'll see in this series. Those who are heterosexual or straight, as they're commonly referred to, are attracted to those of an opposite gender or genders dissimilar to their own. This usually means men who are attracted to women and vice versa. The majority of those who are straight are not queer. This is usually because they also identify as cisgender and allosexual, two identities we will explore in other entries as well. Those who are not queer are often referred to by the shorthand allo-cis-het, allosexual, cisgender, and heterosexual, or some variation of these terms. The reason allo-cis-het are not considered queer comes down to the amount of privilege they have. Those who are heterosexual have more privilege than those who are not. This is because society considers straight to be the default for all at birth, and there are many who raise their children accordingly. Of course, this is far from the case, but it's the mindset that leads to discrimination of sexualities other than heterosexual. This is not to say all those who are straight are not queer. There are many who are both straight and queer. This could be for all manner of reasons. Perhaps they are trans, as well as straight, or asexual, as well as straight. Heteroflexible. There are also those who identify as heteroflexible or heteroflex. This means that despite being predominantly straight, they may also experience attraction outside of what they consider to be straight. Questioning or curious. Those who use the term straight may also be questioning or curious. In other words, they are exploring their understanding of their identity, which is absolutely encouraged. It's important that when we discuss those who are not queer, that we do not default to the use of the term straight as a monolith. This leads to those who are questioning, or those who are queer and straight, to be put in dangerous situations where they may not feel safe to identify as the way they do. These situations are the only instances where heterophobia occurs, since they are within minority groups alongside being straight. We will now discuss a harmful identity called super straight. If you see the super straight flag, it's likely you are dealing with a transphobe. I am only displaying this flag in the next image on the screen to bring awareness to the signs you can look out for. Recently, there have been those referring to themselves as super straight. This term is linked specifically with those who are straight, excluding those who are trans from their sexuality on transphobic grounds, since they believe the only way to be straight is if you are attracted to those who are cisgender, which of course is ridiculous and harmful. I only mention this identity here to bring awareness of its existence. Super straight and identities similar to it, such as super gay, are not part of the queer community. Homosexuality, gays and lesbians. Another well-recognised identity is homosexual. This refers to those attracted to either the same gender as themselves or a similar gender to their own. The term most associated with homosexuality is the term gay. This is a term encompassing all homosexual identities, including lesbians. Gay is most often used by men who are attracted to other men. This is also known as MLM, or men-loving men, but the term can also be used by women and those who are non-binary. Lesbians. Women who are attracted to women are often referred to as lesbians. The term lesbian, like all identity terms, is not a monolith. It's actually in itself an umbrella term, much like the term gay. All identities can be paired with other identities. The term lesbian can be used by those who are non-binary and even by those who are men, especially if those men are trans and prefer to keep the term post-socially transitioning. No label should be gate-kept. The point of labels is to give those who are queer terms they can use to express a part of themselves. Trying to limit a label to one specific group is exclusionary behaviour that should not be encouraged. The reason I am mentioning this under the term lesbian is because recently there has been a surge of exclusionist lesbians who believe the term should not be used alongside other identities such as bi or asexual. This ideology is ridiculous, biphobic and aphobic. The term has always been inclusive since its conception. Do not listen to the exclusionists. Your identity labels are yours and yours alone. They do not get to tell you how you can identify. The term lesbi, or lesbophobia, is thrown around a lot during these discussions, and it's important to note that lesbians do in fact face this type of discrimination, but not from the existence of bi-lesbians. The term lesbian and the term gay are often considered to be under the umbrella terms of Achillean and Sapphic. I will now discuss these terms. Achillean, MLM. Achillean is an umbrella term unifying all identities which include men or those who are men-aligned who are attracted to other men or those who are also men-aligned. This means that the term includes terms such as gay, homosexual men, bi, pan, asexual, and any identity that can be considered MLM, men-loving men. The term Achillean refers to the mythological figure Achilles and was first used in the context of men-loving men in 1959. Sapphic, WLW. Sapphic is an umbrella term unifying all identities which include women or those who are women-aligned, who are attracted to other women or those who are also women-aligned. This means that the term includes terms such as lesbian, homosexual women, bi, pan, asexual, and any identity that can be considered WLW, women loving women. The term Sapphic refers to the Greek poet Sappho, who was born on the island of Lesbos, which is where the term lesbian is derived. Diamoric. Diamoric is the non-binary counterpart to Achillean and Sapphic, and is an umbrella term used to encompass all forms of attraction those who are non-binary have. It is a term exclusive to those who are non-binary, but can be used by those who are not if they are in a relationship with those who are non-binary. There are several identity terms that fall under this umbrella, and we shall discuss a few of them now. Viromoric. Viromoric is a term that refers to the attraction those who are non-binary feel towards men or those who are men-aligned. This term was created to be exclusive to those who are non-binary and or genderqueer as an alternative to terms such as straight or gay. Androsexual. A similar term to viromoric is androsexual. This term can be seen as an umbrella term similar to Achillean, where it refers to those attracted to men or those who are men-aligned, though it is most commonly used by those who are non-binary and or genderqueer as an alternative to terms such as straight or gay. Recently, this label has been given some criticism, considering its old definition which referred to it as the attraction to men, males, and or masculinity. The inclusion of the term males has since been removed since it creates the misguided notion that those who are andro are attracted to specific kinds of genitalia, and are therefore exclusionary to some trans men who have not had gender affirmation surgeries. It's understandable why some would be uncomfortable adopting the term, but the old definition is retired, considering how problematic it is. I personally identify myself as andro because it's the term I feel I can relate to my attraction to men and masculinity the most. However, I do not refer to myself as androsexual. I consider myself androphilic, since my attraction is an aesthetic attraction, not a sexual one. I intend to do a whole entry in this series based on various types of attraction outside of sexual and romantic. Toric or quadrision. Toric or quadrision is another term to describe the attraction of those who are non-binary and their attraction towards men. It's great to have multiple terms for the same type of attraction because it means you are given options to choose from. You can use any of these labels in combination with each other or on their own. That's the beauty of labels. They are personable. Feminimoric. Feminimoric is a term that refers to the attraction those who are non-binary feel towards women or those who are women-aligned. This term was created to be exclusive to those who are non-binary and or genderqueer as an alternative to terms such as straight or lesbian. Gynecosexuality. Much like androsexuality, this identity label has also been criticised, considering its old definition which referred to it as the attraction to women, females, and or femininity. The inclusion of the term females has since been removed since it creates the misguided notion that those who are gyne or gyno are attracted to specific kinds of genitalia and are therefore exclusionary to some trans women who have not had gender affirmation surgeries. Again, it's understandable why some would be uncomfortable adopting this term, but the old definition is retired considering how problematic it is. Trixic. Trixic is another term to describe the attraction of those who are non-binary and their attraction towards women, again offering more options to those who are non-binary and or genderqueer. Terraric. Terraric is an orientation meant for those who are non-binary to describe their attraction towards others who are non-binary, or to Stellarians. Stellarians fall under the Galatian alignment system. This system is a topic of all its own, and I cannot do it justice in such a small description, so please let me know if you want to see a blog entry and a video entry based on this in the comments. Briefly, I will mention it is a system created for those who are non-binary to describe their gender without using terms such as masculinity, etc. Ceterosexual. Ceterosexual is a label that refers to those who are attracted towards those who are non-binary and or genderqueer. The term was previously known as scoliosexual, but this was changed because of its problematic description that included the attraction to those who are binary trans. The reason this was problematic is because those who are binary trans are already included within all identities that include those who are binary. Separating them from those who are binary cisgender leaves the door open for transphobes to use rhetoric such as, "You are not a real man," etc. So thank goodness this label has been updated to be less problematic. There's another good thing with labels: they are adaptable and change with the times. Enbian, NBY, L, NBY. Finally, we have Enbian, which is an umbrella term unifying all identities, which include those who are non-binary and or genderqueer, who are attracted to those who are also non-binary and or genderqueer. This means that the term includes terms such as all the ones that you've heard above under the diamouric label, bi, pan, asexual, and any identity that can be and any identity that can be considered NBY, LNBY, non-binary loving non-binary. I want to add that though the LGBTIA wiki writes this out as NB, L, NB, I advise against this and would instead suggest you use NBY, LNBY. This is because the letters NB are shorthand for non-black in the black community, and it's important that we respect that and utilise terminology which is accessible to all. So there we go, single attraction identities. As you can see, it's way more than just straight and gay. Next time we will be discussing the multisexual attraction spectrum, better known as MSpec. Please do your own research along this video, and I hope to see you next time. If you would like to support me, consider donating to my Cash App below, follow me on Twitter, link below, subscribe to my channel. You can do that by clicking on the red button down below, hit the bell button to be notified of more videos on this channel, and check out my website for more of my content, again, down below. Now, you may be wondering why there was no video on Tuesday. That was because I was supposed to release this early, but I misjudged how long it would actually take to write. So I moved it from Tuesday to Thursday. And instead of having a chapter of A Donut from Cacopia being read this week, I will instead have 2 being read next week. And hopefully the week after, I will have the blog entry ready for MSpec Identities. So thank you so much for watching these videos. Thank you for supporting and donating to help me out. And I will see you in my next video, which will hopefully be out on Saturday. Bye.